faithfully delivering value and interpreting great books from around the world. Hi there, this is Sally from Sally's Book Talk. Today, I'm going to interpret the book, The Emotional Life of Your Brain, for you. Oh, through this book, you'll get a deep dive into human emotions and learn how to better manage and control them. And the author, Richard Davidson, earned his PhD in psychology from Harvard University and is now a professor at UW-Madison. He's considered one of the top neuroscientists out there today. Back in 2006, Time magazine named him among the world's 100 most influential people. That list usually has politicians and business leaders, so a psychologist making it in is pretty rare. Just imagine his research impact. People feel all sorts of emotions daily, but because emotions happen in the brain, we've long lacked ways to precisely observe neural activity. So for ages, emotions were like a mystery, veiled and hidden. Folks didn't know how emotions pop up and often got trapped in anger, sadness, or anxiety without control, becoming slaves to their feelings. Richard Davidson, the author, studied why emotions happen and how to manage them, introducing the idea of emotional style. Today's book, The Emotional Life of Your Brain, is his work, and I've boiled it down to 3 key questions. First up, what exactly is emotional style? Second, why do we all have unique emotional styles, and can they be changed? And third, how can we improve our emotional style? All right, let's dive into the world of emotions and uncover the secrets to controlling them. Okay, let's tackle the first question. So, what is emotional style? The author defines emotional style as how each of us handles our emotions. Basically, our mindset and approach to dealing with feelings. Now, what makes each person's emotional style so different? Davidson did tons of research observing the brain when emotions shift. From this, he broke down human emotions into 6 dimensions, each tied to a specific brain area. The mix of these 6 dimensions shapes your unique emotional style. Let's go through each of these 6 dimensions step by step. First up is the emotion regulation dimension. It's all about how quickly and well you can adjust your emotions, like when you lose a job or bomb a test. Some folks might comfort themselves and bounce back quickly from tough spots, while others can get stuck feeling down for ages. Second, the life attitude dimension. It's about whether people have a positive or negative outlook on life. For example, when facing half a glass of water, some people think, why is it only half full? While others feel, awesome, there's still half left. This difference comes down to their different life attitudes. Third, the social intuition dimension. It refers to how sharp or dull someone's gut feeling is in social situations. For instance, some can easily read others' expressions and body language. In Chinese tradition, this is called observing words and colors, and accurately judge their state and intentions right away. Um, in literature, there's often a genius type character who can't read others' eyes or expressions well. Facing tons of hurdles in social life, this shows an extreme lack of social intuition. Fourth, the self-observation dimension. It's about how aware you are of yourself. Simply put, when you're happy or sad, can you clearly recognize that you're in that emotional state? This sounds straightforward, but not everyone can pull it off. There's a repressive defense mechanism in the brain. People with a strong one might deny feeling anxious, irritable, or stressed even when they're all flushed and tense. They're not lying, they genuinely don't feel it. If the situation sensitivity dimension mainly means being able to tell different occasions apart and act appropriately. In daily life, people often deal with varied settings like job interviews, exams, weddings, or victory parties. If you can adjust your behavior to fit the environment, it shows you're sensitive to the situation. On the flip side, someone cracking crude jokes at a solemn funeral likely has low emotional sensitivity. Sixth, the attention dimension. This one's pretty easy to grasp. For example, some have super strong focus and can sit for hours solving math puzzles. They're often called study gods. These are the 6 emotional dimensions Davidson laid out. For each dimension, Davidson gives a scale from 1 to 10, like 6 rulers used to measure a person's level in each emotional dimension. Generally, a mentally healthy person has each emotional dimension close to the middle range. For example, in terms of situational sensitivity, most people probably fall somewhere in the middle. We wouldn't gossip about the groom's past at someone's wedding, nor can we be perfectly tactful and flawless all the time. By measuring your own 6 emotional dimensions, you can understand your emotional style and find ways to improve. For instance, if someone has poor emotion regulation and tends to dwell on pain, they can work on boosting their ability to handle setbacks and speed up emotional recovery. Okay, so we've covered what emotional style is. Next up is the second question. Why do we all have different emotional styles? And can it be changed? Davidson's division of the 6 emotional dimensions isn't arbitrary. It's grounded in his extensive experimental research on brain neural activity. In research, the human brain has a 3-layer structure. The first layer controls instinctive responses, like when your knee is tapped and your leg jerks. The second layer is called the limbic system, which processes emotions and is the emotional brain region. The third layer is the neocortex, where rational thinking resides. Before Davidson, people thought each brain layer had its own job. Emotions were solely determined by the limbic system, and rational thought and emotions were completely separate and independent. However, Davidson's research found that between the second and third brain layers, there are many connections and interactions that together shape emotional style. This breakthrough is thanks to new technology that emerged in the early 20th century, brain imaging, which gave humans a way to understand brain neural activity. Specifically, brain imaging involves using specialized instruments to observe the movement of enzymes, hormones, and other substances in the brain, indirectly monitoring neural activity to determine emotional states in specific situations. For example, dopamine is a chemical closely linked to feelings of happiness. With brain imaging, we can see increased dopamine in a brain area at a certain time, indicating that the subject is feeling happier then. Davidson used this method to study human brain neural activity. He had subjects experience darkness and watch horror films to trigger emotions like anxiety and fear. Observations showed that the amygdala, the key emotion center in the limbic system, gets quickly activated, and Davidson's breakthrough was discovering that simultaneously, the neocortex, the third brain layer, also starts working. In other words, the second and third layers of the brain aren't completely isolated from each other. There are lots of neurons linking them together. And when startled, the amygdala reacts, making us feel fear and unease. Meanwhile, the neocortex sends signals to the amygdala for emotional adjustment, helping us gradually calm down and return to normal. Think of the amygdala like a horse that neighs frantically at anything suspicious, while the neocortex is the rider who commands it to calm down. Davidson found that more neural connections between neocortex and amygdala allow stronger regulation signals, boosting emotional adjustment skills. Later, Davidson conducted extensive research, digging into how each emotional dimension works. He discovered all 6 dimensions are influenced by both limbic system and neocortex, determined by brain's neural wiring. Since everyone's brain structure differs, emotional styles vary wildly too. So, if emotional style ties to brain structure, is it just innate? Can we actually change our emotional style? There's an old saying, rivers and mountains are easier to change than human nature. This belief dominated academia and daily life for ages. But recent scientific research over the last 20 years overturned all that. And Davidson ran an experiment measuring a group of children's shyness levels at ages 3 and 9. The results stunned him. A child's behavior at 3 showed almost no correlation with their behavior at 9. meaning shyness, seen as unchangeable, can actually be reshaped through various influences. One hyperactive 3-year-old boy became withdrawn at 9 after his dad's sudden death. A shy 3-year-old girl blossomed socially thanks to a great kindergarten teacher and kind older brother. This shows the brain's neuroplasticity, meaning its structure and function can change significantly. Davidson also studied meditation practices among monks. He discovered that repeated meditation practice can actually reshape the brain's neural structure. For example, when facing stress, the brain goes through this process. The neocortex's rational thinking understands the difficult situation and recognizes you're in trouble. Then the neocortex sends this understanding through neural connections as signals to the limbic system. Then the limbic system produces negative emotional evaluations, making us feel frustrated or sad. But meditation can alter the brain's neural structure, changing its habitual stress responses. Davidson's research shows meditation creates new neural pathways, reducing signals sent from neocortex to limbic system. This process is pretty complex. Think of it like a stream that used to flow along a fixed path until a sudden storm reroutes it, carving a new channel. Meditation carves new channels in the riverbed of the mind. It redirects neocortex signals to other brain regions instead of triggering negative emotions in the limbic system. So, situations that once caused stress no longer trigger strong anxiety or fear, helping people face life more positively. Davidson's meditation research proves that repeated mental exercises can reshape neural structures, like the life attitude dimension. Specifically, this involves the ventral striatum in the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex in the neocortex. The more active the neural pathways between these areas, the more positive someone's life attitude. Didn't catch those brain region names? No worries. Davidson provides concrete exercises in his book targeting these specific brain areas, just like with other emotional dimensions. Davidson developed psychotherapy methods for each dimension. Okay, let's explore how to specifically adjust and improve each of the 6 emotional dimensions. First up, the emotion regulation dimension. Davidson's research found meditation effectively boosts emotion regulation skills. Many think meditation's hard, but it's actually quite easy to start. The way to get started is with mindfulness-based stress reduction, also known as mindfulness meditation. Only takes 3 steps and you can practice anytime. First, sit upright on the floor or a chair. Relax while keeping your spine straight and don't lean back on the chair so you won't fall asleep. Second, breathe only through your nose. Inhale and exhale slowly. Focus your attention on the tip of your nose. And notice the different sensations with each breath. During this, if you catch your mind wandering with unrelated thoughts or feelings, just gently bring your focus back to your breathing. You can start with 5-minute sessions, then extend to 10 or 20 minutes, doing it once a day. After a few weeks, you'll get more and more comfortable with meditation. Next, let's look at how to adjust the second dimension of emotional style, life attitude. Italian scholar Giovanni Fava proposed a well-being therapy, proven through experiments to help people become more positive and optimistic, boosting their ability to maintain upbeat emotions. Specifically, well-being therapy includes 3 exercises. First, write down one of your strengths and one strength of someone you interact with often. Try not to repeat the strengths each time you write them, so your brain keeps actively engaging in this practice. Second, frequently express gratitude to others. Louis himself counted how many times he said thank you. When you say those 2 words, make direct eye contact and be as sincere as possible in your expression. When expressing thanks, if you have a genuine exchange, even if brief, jot it down at the end of the day and also compliment others often, paying special attention to praiseworthy qualities in them. For example, a colleague excelling at work or a stranger wearing a stylish coat. When giving compliments, maintain eye contact. And after a week, take time to reflect on your own life attitude. How has your style changed? You'll likely find that positive emotions last longer, and the feeling of optimism and being able to handle anything grows stronger. Now, let's explore how to adjust the third emotional dimension, social intuition. Many people aim to develop sharper social intuition because lots of research shows that the better someone is at this, the more likely they are to succeed in their career, to pick up social cues and respond more appropriately. We need to stay aware of what's happening around us, paying attention to others' voices, tones, body language, facial expressions, and more. Generally, with enough practice, you'll improve. Step 1, start by observing strangers. For example, when in public, pick a couple to observe, especially focus on their faces since they convey so much information. Step 2, see if you can predict things like whether they'll touch each other and how. How close will they stand? When talking, will they make eye contact? Step 3, move closer and try to overhear their conversation. Choose settings where you can approach without disturbing them, like in malls or crowded cinema lobbies. Check if their tone and body language match your predictions. If they don't match, it means your understanding was off. Identify where you went wrong. Then apply what you learned during your next observation session. So, once you can confidently read others' feelings, try it with friends and colleagues. Through this practice, you'll develop greater sensitivity toward others. Next, let's explore how to cultivate self-sensitivity and boost self-observation skills. After mastering meditation, you'll typically understand your own states and feelings much better and further enhance awareness. Set this practice goal. Notice whatever enters your mind most prominently. Whether it's a thought, feeling, or bodily sensation, cultivate awareness of the present moment without analyzing or judging it. Davidson introduces a body scan exercise you can try. First, sit straight on the floor or chair, relaxed but with spine upright. Second, practice slow, diaphragmatic breathing while systematically moving attention through your body. Toes, ankles, knees, noticing sensations like tingling, pressure, or temperature. Don't think about the body parts, just feel them. This non-judgmental process builds bodily awareness. If you get lost in thoughts or feelings, just adjust your breathing to calm down. Aim for 5 to 10 minutes per body scan session, twice daily. After a few weeks, you'll notice fewer judgments, panics, and obsessions in your mind. While staying aware of them, you won't get sucked into their whirlpool. The fifth dimension in emotional style is situation sensitivity, whether people can sense the current scenario and act naturally. If this ability is weak, people might get overly anxious at important events or stay too calm when they should worry. Most people fall into the first category. For example, before public speaking, many get shaky legs and pale faces. Some professionals panic whenever they need to approach their boss. Research shows improving situation sensitivity involves gradual exposure to anxiety triggers through situational training. So, what is situational training? Take that boss-related nervousness example we just mentioned. First, identify specific boss behaviors causing fear or anxiety and list them. Like how he frowns at bad news or stays silent during your reports. Write these down in detail. But in a safe environment, say at home on weekends, gently visualize those boss scenarios. Vividly imagine his stern face and furrowed brow. While doing this, practice steady breathing until you feel calm, even when picturing his intense expression. Each session should last 10 to 15 minutes. After several sessions, you'll gain better control over anxiety-triggering situations. You can then swap scenarios to improve performance across various settings. Finally, let's examine the attention dimension. Generally, people struggle with insufficient focus. Here's a method to improve it. Step-by-step mindfulness setup. Open your eyes and pick a small object, maybe a coin or a button on clothing. The focus object here must be something visible, not your breath or body parts. Then concentrate all your attention on it. Keep your eyes fixed on it. If you get distracted, don't panic. Just gently refocus on the object. Do this exercise once daily. Start with 10 minutes per session. If you find yourself maintaining focus most of the time, gradually extend each session. These are Davidson's methods for adjusting and refining the 6 emotional dimensions. These exercises can reshape the neural systems behind emotional styles, helping people master their emotions. All right, that's the emotional life of your brain. That wraps up our interpretation of this book. Find reading notes below the audio. See you tomorrow.